Camera's rolling.
Baby, I'm too young to know any better, but I guess I'm just too old to care. I'm waiting on the morning light to clear the air. Never stay wrong with regret. Letting go that you pay flags. All the silence that keep me coming back. I'm the one that you hated. You know, the one you didn't want to believe. The one that you hated. Take a look at me now. I'm the one that you created. The one that you hated. Mother Baker said, bury your secrets. And your gold and souls are black. You get the love with all your footsteps running back. Never stay wrong with regret. Letting go that you pay flags. All the silence that keep me coming back. I'm the one that you hated. You know, the one you didn't want to believe. The one that you hated. Take a look at me now. I'm the one that you.
Good morning, everybody. How are you doing? Let's do some dad talk. Hope everybody is doing good today. Really quick, as I say always, down there at the bottom of the screen. Dad talk today, no spaces. Cash App, Venmo, Patreon. There's so many ways you can support the show. If you don't have any money and you can't support it, man, you can like, share, subscribe. You can ding the bell so that you're getting these notifications. We're building up an army here. As I said this morning, I had the picture of Martin Luther King. I have a dream, guys. He fought for racial equality. I'm fighting for parental equality. No man should be judged by the color of their skin, and no man should be held accountable, or not say held accountable. No man should be judged by their gender. I mean, the fact that we have price tags on our families, dude. I've got a lot on my mind this morning, guys. You'll have to excuse me really quick. If you wanted to get some Dad Talk Today cups, you can message the Facebook page. It's been a little bit of a hard week. I've been getting in some news, a lot on the mind. Tomorrow's show is going to be one of the hardest I've had to do in a while. This is one of the ones that I reported early on Facebook. It's the story of Sophia Larson. And another reason why I want you guys like, share, subscribe, make sure you're commenting, you're getting these stories out. A lot of the stories that we're talking about now is stuff that happened in the past. And we've got to get him back out there because justice has not been served yet. Alec Larson was a 21-year-old father, man, when he came to the show. It was one of my first interviews, especially of this nature. And it was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. His daughter was 7 years old. Okay. He was fighting for custody. Mom had custody of the daughter. She was over at mom's house, and she picked up a bottle of water to drink. Get her bottle of water. Mom had been smoking crystal meth. So there was a lot of crystal meth residue inside of there. And as that little girl went to drink that water, it threw her into cardiac arrest. As sad and shocking as that story is, what happened afterwards will blow your mind. They didn't call the cops right or the ambulance right away. She had some friends there, and they tried these different rituals and stuff, went next door, got the oxygen from the neighbor, and did all these things trying to keep this little girl alive because they didn't want to call the ambulance because they'd get in trouble because they had been smoking crystal meth. Well, she died at that house. It was hours before the ambulance came and got her. Had they called the ambulance right away, Sophia would still be here. And that was one of the early stories that we reported on because I raised money to be able to get Sophia's tombstone. I got to talk to Alec. It's been a while since I've talked to the father. Mom is in jail, but there was 3 people that was involved on this. One of them moved out of the country to try to get away from it. She's back in the country now, and this dad wants to see justice. Would you guys want to see justice? I think I would too. And he's wanting to come and talk to you guys about that and ways that you can support. So I pray that you will show up. Also, as if one of these stories isn't bad enough, I got to talk to a gentleman the other night. He had a son, Caleb Knoll. Caleb was a diabetic. He had no custody, paid child support, but he had no custody. Mom was a drug addict. Same scenario. She was leaving the kid at the house by himself, no food. There was going days without eating. He's got some Xbox messages where they were talking over the video games. He's like, Dad, I haven't ate. I'm hungry. He heard from his friends was playing video games with him one night. Was like, tell your dad what's going on. Well, one day he went into a diabetic coma while Mom wasn't there. And by the time they found him, they tried to rush him to the hospital. As he got to the hospital, this is allegedly, this is the stories I'm being told. As they got to the hospital, Mom told him, is like, I got to leave here. It's too much on my mind. I can't talk about this right now. And he's like, you're leaving me here. I have no say so because I'm just the dad, but whatever. You know, she leaves. She's gone for a couple of days. You know, around the second day, the doctor comes up and says, you know, have you made a decision yet? He's like, what are you talking about? When's my son going to wake up? His son had 2 heart attacks on the way there. He was on life support. He was being told he had to make the decision to pull the plug on his son. Another 14-year-old that passed away, guys. These custody exchange murders and all this other stuff that's going on, it's very heavy. But thinking about these kids that lost their life, here is 2 different cases that had the parent did what they were supposed to do, we might still have them here. So, yeah, like I said, got a lot on my mind, but we're going to get these stories out because they need to be got out. How many of you have heard about these stories on the mainstream media? You haven't. I can guarantee you haven't. If you had, I'd be very shocked. And there's a reason that it's not getting out there. And I definitely want to be there for these parents. Also, there's another popular page out there that gets a lot of heat. I think they probably get way more heat than Dad Talk. It's kind of hard to imagine because I see the heat that we get speaking for father's rights. But have you ever heard of the transformed wife? The transformed wife is a lady that said, you know what? I realized I went 20 years of my marriage withholding sex, thinking that my husband had to serve me, putting him last and everything, and realized like, hey, I need to be making sure that he's happy because when he's happy, we're all happy. I need to stop making him think that like he's my servant or whatever. And for the past 10 years, she has tried to encourage women and families to get back to that traditional nuclear family. Well, of course, that's getting some heat, especially from the feminists. I saw her talking about how much happier her husband was yesterday on her page. And it just got me thinking. I reached out and said, I'd like to interview your husband. And so that ended up on me and him having a conversation, him laughing at some of the memes over here on Dad Talk. And we're going to have that conversation going out on Friday. And I think after that, we're going to invite her on the show. Would you guys like to hear from the transformed wife? I would. I think this would be really good. They come from a Christian perspective. I know we have some people that might not be religious. They might not be believers, but that's okay. I think it's about finding common ground, and I believe in a lot of what they say. So I'm looking forward to that conversation. With that being said, guys, we're going to need you. I'm going to need you a little bit later on this week. I need you in the comments because I'm going to tell you, trying to make sense of these stories, sometimes it gets very hard and I'm at a loss of words. You know, once that camera's rolling, you're on here, you're on the microphone, people are sitting there listening. And there's times I don't know what to say to you guys because there's no answer. There's no cause for this. There's no logic or anything behind any of the bull crap that we're hearing right now. Any of you that are having to go into family court in the first place, if you're a good, fit, willing, and able father, make that make sense. Why are you being sold your own kids? Why are you having your rights that you should have that are God-given sold back to you? How are we justifying any of the bull crap that we're hearing right now? I can't get on that train, man. I can't. But at the same time, it's hard. It's hard doing what we're doing here because I know there's people out there that care about these kids. And this is news that's going to be need to be getting out, guys. I'll tell you this. 2023 is a very exciting year. I have had many conversations. I was talking to a network just a couple of weeks ago. I've got a contract right now they're wanting me to sign to get this podcast going. Non-exclusive, so I can still work with some other people, but I'm really weighing my options on that. I got 2 different mini series in the works, and we got about 5 documentaries, guys. There was somebody that saw it. They believe in what we're doing here, and they're wanting to make sure that this movement gets the traction that we're needing. So I beg you right now, make sure that we're getting the word out, because if we can show them the power of this movement and how many people care, this is the moment. Okay, I've got some really big stories there. I got one I'm about to be covering. I'll be leaving in just a couple of weeks. It's getting put together very last minute. It was a worldwide story. All of the media was reaching out to this family, wanting to get that case, but they saw me talking about it on Dad Talk. And I talked to the family the other day, and they said, Eric, we want to give you the exclusive. The news is out there for sensational stories. We want this story to be told right. Will you help us? Absolutely. So there's some good stuff coming up, guys. Like I said, just show your support and make sure that we're encouraging people, welcoming them when they're showing up here. These are guys that have been broken. They've been beaten down. They feel like there's nobody out there for them, that nobody's listening to what's going on. We know better. We know better. When I get on here, I speak very confident. There's people that have tried to call it ego. No. I can speak confidently, even though a lot of this is just coming out of my head because I know what my guys are going through. When you see the suicide rates, when you see what's going on, this needed to happen a long time ago. It is very important that we get this information out there because we're fighting a war. And part of that is on many different levels. So now I'm going to get to the crux of the conversation today. Try to get through this show, and then so I can go prepare for the other ones that's coming up later on this week. Have you been enjoying, by the way, before we get into that, have you been enjoying seeing Dad Talk every day? 7 days a week, guys. We've been doing it. We've been getting it out there. I might have to take some time off because right now I got to get a wisdom tooth pulled. Has anybody ever had that done? How bad is it? Because I'm wondering, can I still come on and do Dad Talk when that happens? I've been putting it off for like a week. It's killing me. I can't even shut the right side of my jaw. But have you been enjoying this? If you do, again, please like, share, subscribe, comment, welcome people. Let's make this a welcoming community. They say hurt people hurt other people. And I believe that can happen. You're seeing people with a lot of emotions here, but even the ones that are hurting the most, can we love them? Can we show them some support? That's what it's about. The Tinder Swindler. How many of you went and watched that movie? When I said something to you guys about it the other day, has anybody seen the Tinder Swindler? I'm curious your comments on it. So I'm going to give a brief synopsis, my overview of what I took out of this. Okay, I'm watching this documentary, and it's about this guy. Okay, let me pull him up. He goes and puts his pictures on Tinder. I'm not going to lie to you. Kind of reminds me of Robert Garza. But Robert's not fake. He's not a swindler. But this guy right here, looks successful. Got the watch, the cigar. And then when you go and look up his name, which most people are probably going to do, especially if they're looking to date someone. If you look up his name, he had the same last name as this billionaire diamonds guy. And so when these ladies would look it up, he was the son of this billionaire, right? And when he would meet him, he would give him all this like love bombing. Like, hey, I want you to go on this really impulsive vacation. I've only known you for 12 hours. Will you fly with me to another country? I'm going to wine you. I'm going to dine you. Unlike you've ever seen. I'm going to make you feel like the most special person on the face of this earth. And then once you go back home, we're going to sit there. We're going to talk about text. How much, oh, you're the right one. I've met you. I want to start a life with you. Let's get a house and everything. Do you know how many ladies got swindled by this guy? And I'm going to tell you, there was people that was looking down on this guy at the same time. Why did they go after that? Is that all you got to do is get some nice clothes, say you're the son of a billionaire, spend a lot of money, and then that hooks people enough that they will move to another country, go buy a house, send you tens of thousands of dollars, actually hundreds of thousands of dollars, because they think that you are this rich person and that they have got them a sugar daddy. Well, that's what happened. That's what happened. All these other guys on Tinder but you go after this one because you think that's what you want. I got a comment this morning on Twitter. One of the ladies that was seeing you guys talk, they was like, can you show me where to find one of these good guys that will treat somebody right that you're always talking about? Because I've never seen them. And I wanted to get smart so bad and just be like, well, that sounds like your fault. Where are you looking? Right? Because I know of lots of good guys out there that would make great husbands. Are they rich? No. Can they provide a house? Can they provide a family? Can they do the things that need to be done? Yes. Are they the best looking? I don't know. That's not for me to decide. Are they the tallest? No. But could they be good guys? Yes. What is it that you're looking for in a man? What are you saying is your standards? I had no idea. I guess I'm 6 foot. My dad was 6'9". Okay, size 17 shoe, man. Big man. I didn't get that big, but I was 6 foot. So I didn't know the struggles of some of these guys that are dealing with the height issue. Do you know how bad that is in relationships? If a guy is short, cutting it. No. He's going to have to be rich, because if he's short and she's taller than him, that's like a no-go. Could you imagine somebody's height being something that predicts whether somebody's going to be in a relationship or not? And because I've never dealt with it, never seen it, I started getting these messages in dad talk like, man, I can't find a good woman. They all tell me I'm too short. Have any of you guys been through that? I feel sorry for you. Like, are we really that vain right now? Where are all the good guys at? Probably right in front of your face. But what are you expecting out of the man is the problem. Amanda, she said, never seen them because you aren't looking for them. You're probably looking past them. That's 100% correct, man. How many times have we seen the woman that will leave the man that loves her, that will roll out that red carpet, provide them with a good lifestyle, provide them with anything that they want, and she will leave him for a man that has absolutely nothing to offer? Happens all the time. Is it that you are wanting good men? Or what is it that you're really wanting? I have seen so many of these women that will leave the good man. I'm going to tell you, let me bring it back on the guys. There's some of the guys that think that they are so much more than what they really are. Yeah, that happens too. But I think right now they said, like ladies are looking for that 1% of guy. The other 99% probably don't fall into that category of what people find attractive. Absolutely. Michael said, guys do it too, Eric. I know. Jason Bermender, exactly. In my experience, a lot of the women I come across aren't looking for someone who can be a good husband or father, but something else. That's what it's supposed to be, man. Sex has been used so much as a drug now, and that's what I see a lot going on these apps. These are people that, especially with guys, they're looking for an easy one-night stand. Guys, be careful, because you create a lot of this. Okay, you're just as much a part of the problem. But for the ones that are looking for somebody and want to settle down, that sex that's been used as a drug. I go, I wine and dine you. If I have fun, we have sex at the end of the night. And then if we don't want to have no commitment, we don't have to. Have we really gotten to the point that thing, that intimacy that's supposed to be shared between a husband and a wife is so easily given to people that we have no plans to be with? What is it that you can provide that person that you want to settle down with later on in your life that you haven't gave to anybody else? What, marriage? A government contract? That's not a sign of love. You guys should be able to do it between yourselves. Look, I don't believe in that marriage contract anymore. At the same time, what is it that you can give your spouse that you haven't given to anybody else? And that just seems so unattractive, so passe. Like, oh man, you need to test drive it before you go there. Like, I'm actually a fan of living with somebody for a couple of years before you decide that you want to marry them, because that first year, most of the time, it's going to be great. You might end up moving somebody in your house and find out the light switch went off. Hell no. No. Well, at least you didn't get married. You didn't have kids or whatever. But year 2, some of the newness starts wearing off and you get used to it. And if you can coexist with somebody, I think that's a little bit different. But for these one night stands, I just got to find it all out in one night, man. I'm not down for that one bit whatsoever. But where are the good guys at? I would say that the majority of these guys are those good guys. but it seems like nobody's looking for them, right? You're looking for the challenge, or you're looking for the guy that's going to give you financial security. I mean, just the fact. I mean, was this guy anything special? I mean, let's go back. Is this really what you want? All right, guys, make sure that you pay attention to the haircut, to those glasses, to that watch, that jacket, the way the facial hair does, that pose and everything. Dude, the second that he put on there that he was a son of a billionaire and they saw that, swoon. I know that documentary or that docuseries was probably made to show how disgusting what this guy did, but how easy was it for him to act like a rich guy, successful, comes from a successful background, and get any woman he wanted. And I'm going to tell you, most of those girls, they were really hot. They were really hot. They fell for it. Is that a testament to how bad this guy is? Or why would they fall for something like that in the first place? Shame on you, guy. Shame on you for doing this. At the same time, I kind of chuckled. I was like, this is what we've been telling you. Where are the good guys at? Is that what you considered a good guy? Oh, man, dude. I'm looking forward to Jimmy being on here. Kim said, looks money. Yeah, looks like money. Christ Jason said, I believe some of women look for the 10 with $100,000 income, in my opinion. I mean, I don't think it's opinion. Now, is it wrong? You know, I heard Dr. Jordan Peterson talking about this the other day, saying, you know, women want the guy with financial security. They want him to look good. They want him in like, and men, you need to be better. And it's not that there's a problem with the women. They want what they want. You need to be better. I completely disagree with it. 100%. Everybody can have these standards. And Jimmy was talking about something the other day I really haven't thought about, but it was making so much sense. Been going around in my head. How has the porn culture played into this? Think about these guys. I got to go and find the right video. I want them doing a certain thing or whatever. And then they're thinking this is the expectation of what's supposed to happen in the bedroom with the person that I'm with. Maybe they're watching this while they're married and they're wondering, like, why isn't this going on in my love life? Probably for a reason. You expect your wife to go and do this? Dude, would you want her online doing this kind of stuff? You can't be comparing your marriage to what you're seeing on here. But we also see that on the social media. How many guys are just sitting in the background waiting to see your wife change her profile picture to the kids or to change that relationship status? It could go the same for men. I've always said, you know what has attracted more women to me than anything else in my life? That wedding ring. Knowing that I'm taken. I've even had women that would give me no attention when I was single, but when I get married, they'll be all over me because now I'm a challenge. There ain't nobody out there worth taking the love I have for my wife away. She loved me when I had nothing to give, you know, and she's put into me. And dude, I don't put into stuff like that. But so many people do. Mike said, dude looks like a dork trying to be cool to me. I mean, I think so. I think so. But he did it. Look how easy it was to do. And then think about that social media Tinder. Is it really any different? I can put whatever picture I want up on there. I go and pick out my best picture that might not look like me on most days. I go and pick my happiest moments, and I can give you this portrayal of who I am. And then when I meet you, I can do this whining and dining and all this other stuff to spend this money. It's so easy to create that image of who they want you to think that they are. It's not until you've been with that for a while that you find out who they are. How many times have you men heard, you should have picked better? It's your fault. You're the one that picked them. Were you handed an image of a person that you later found out was the complete opposite? Yeah. Come on. We know what's going on. Mr. Carnell Smith, the paternity coach. Man, if you didn't see the video I put out, This man got 250,000 views overnight over on TikTok, man. Paternity fraud. My inbox was ding, 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 ding. People saying, man, I'm going through this. I believe I'm not the father. Or I was signed up on child support and I was never the father to begin with. Man, dude, we've got to start getting these conversations out. Another thing, really quick, I'm going to read your comment, Cornell, but I did something because I said people wouldn't believe it unless I'm showing them. Made another video. I go on a website. All you got to do, go to whatever search engine that you want to and look up fake paternity test. You can buy a fake paternity test for a dad. You can buy one for a sibling. You can buy one, I've never even heard of this, avuncular, to make somebody think that they are the aunt and uncle. And it claims that it is a joke and it's on sale. Usually $45. You can get that for $30. Could you imagine somebody using that $30 to give somebody 18 years of hell? And it could go on even more if it was college. If you haven't seen Paternity Court with Bill Manzer, go look it up. Guy spent 5 years in prison for a child that wasn't his. They had a paternity test. He looked like he was caught red-handed. He's a deadbeat dad. And he kept saying, I'm not the dad. I'm telling you, I think she faked it. Everybody thought this guy was crazy. What happened? She faked it. It was a fake test. That guy can't get back those years that he had in prison. That kid can't get back the time he had without his biological father. And the crazy thing is, mom fought tooth and nail, calling this guy every name in the book, calling him a piece of crap, and that he wasn't living up to his responsibilities until she got caught. And as soon as she got caught, yes, I talked to the biological father all the time. Sickening, dude. How is stuff like that even legal, guys? Masculinity is not being attacked. Fatherhood's not being attacked. How disgusting does it have to get for people to wake up and smell the coffee and realize how much masculinity is being attacked? Stuff like that shouldn't even be legal, dude. That should just be, that's fraud. It's fraud, no matter how you look at it. But he said it reveals that the women did not vet the guy before having intimate relations with this guy. They saw his appearance of wealth and then gave or borrowed money to him. That's it. All he had to do was provide that image of what they think they want. They didn't base this off of, do we have a connection? They didn't base this off of, he would be a good father. He would be a good husband. No, he looks like he's rich. He looks like he's successful, and he's spoiling me. And then what happens? They end up giving everything they got, thinking that it was going to keep this guy because that was the image of what they was looking for. Speaks for itself, man. It speaks for itself. I saw another comment. Mark Arredondo, let's give him a hand. I don't think I've seen you in here before, man. Glad to have you here, brother. Let's welcome Mark. He said, porn creates unrealistic expectations. They need to be viewed like most media as something that's just done behind the box. It does, man. That is not what's going to go on in your relationship. And if that's what you're looking for and you're having children and stuff, man, that's when I'm going to say men make better choices, right? I mean, these people that say my ex was crazy, but man, she was good in bed. It ain't worth that. Is what goes on in the bedroom worth that kind of crap? You're crazy, man. There ain't no way. I appreciate you for chiming in, Mark. Mr. Garza said, today women have fake hair, fake eyelashes, face painted with makeup, fake boobs. On top of that, use filters for the photos, etc. Yet they want men to be real. Damn. Yeah. Thank you. It's true. It's true, but it's actually, to me, very sad that women are having to do these things to think that they're beautiful. What does that say about how unhappy our generation is when they don't even know who they are, when they think they've got to do this stuff in order to be pretty? They think I've got to take 20 pictures in order to get the right angle. I have to have the right filter so that my skin complexion or my wrinkles or something isn't showing. I've got to have these eyelashes because I'm not happy with the ones that I've got. I've got to have fake hair because it's not pretty or it's not long enough. I've got to have the foundation. I've got to cover this up. My boobs ain't big enough. I got to get me some bigger boobies. What does it say about how unhappy this generation is? You know what? I actually have a lot of respect for a woman that doesn't wear much makeup. A little eyeliner or something like that is fine. But you know what? You're going to get old. And some people take that as a sign of, like it's something bad. You know how many people haven't made it to the ages that we are on here right now, guys? I've got some gray hair and stuff. People tell me to do it all the time. I know I haven't shaved in a while. I don't care. I'm proud to be here. I have my challenges. I have depression and stuff from it sometimes. Yes, I'll look in the mirror and like, damn, where did time go? At the same time, I'm proud because I still got life. And I know one day this thing can be taken away from me that quick. I want to be happy with who I am. And we should encourage people to be happy about who they are. All of these different images and stuff of what we make people think this is what we want. No, it's not. How often do you see like the real challenges that people are going through? And it's, dude, the ones that have the shared profile on Facebook, mom and dad. I'm not trying to go off on you guys too much, but I always felt like you can't have the two separate profiles. We got to do this together, but they are the ones that look the happiest on the internet are usually the saddest at home. We have an image to portray. If people worked on their relationships and finding good people to be with as much as they did their image, we would be in a much different world. Much, much different world. Amanda said, that stuff is wild. I knew about fake sonograms and positive pregnancy tests, but I never knew they could fake paternity tests. Crazy. Those things even exist. Guys, go paternity court. It's there. And Bill Manser, Manser, go look. 5 years prison for a fake paternity test. They didn't put his picture or anything else on there, but it said 99.99% the father. Paul said, I'm curious, how many women do the same thing that the swindler did? Are you kidding me? Every day. All day, every day. All the time, Paul. Don't kid yourself. How many of you guys have been catfished? All right, now look, this is going to bring up the whole internet dating topic. Do I think that internet dating is a bad thing? I don't. Some people might not agree with that, but I'll tell you about my reasons why. If you got disagreements, bring that up there. But the first thing that you learn online when talking to this person is to communicate, which is the building blocks of a relationship. You'll learn each other's interest. You learn who they are and everything before you even meet. You engage in conversation most of the time, unless you're somebody that's just looking for a hookup. But you learn how to do that communication, right? But for these guys that are internet dating, how many of these women have you seen with the filters, with the right pose, the right angle, and then you show up and you're like, who's this? Who's this? All right, I'll admit, I've been through this. I've been through this. Look, man, I was a single dad. I didn't have time to walk around the supermarket and the gym and stuff and like, hey there, pretty thing. You want to date? Like, I looked on some of those apps. I saw what was going on in there. But I remember one night, man, I had this really, really pretty girl. She's like, how would I like to meet you? Hit it off, had all her interest and everything. I ain't gonna lie, she was hot. Skinny thing. I like a little meat on the bones. Not too much, but I like a little meat on the bone. I don't discriminate. you know what I'm saying? I don't discriminate. Anyway, we get to the meeting place and I'm sitting there waiting and I get this text. It's like, are you going to say something? I'm like, what do you mean? Where are you? A little short girl, stumpy. Fluffy. And I look and I was like, no. This reminds me of the movie Friday. Y'all remember when Smokey was talking to what's her name's friend? She's like, oh yeah, I look like Janet Jackson. Janet Jackson, yeah. He sees her, he's like, damn, came out looking more like Freddie Jackson. I don't even know why they would do this to themselves. Really, serious. Don't put out that fake image. You know, it's one thing when you can put on the clothes and everything and act like that. But if you make yourself look like, you know, you're this big and you come out and you're, you know, dude, I'm not discriminating. I'm just saying it's false advertising. It happens all the time. So do women do that too? 100%. See it all the time. Mark said the fact that some states have a time frame in which it can be proven is disgusting. After X amount of years, you're obligated whether or not the child is yours. Oh, he was talking about the paternity fraud issue. Yeah, man. If you put your name down on that dotted line that you're the father, you sign that birth certificate. A lot of times you do this because, you know, I've been with this person, I trust them. Or there could be the marital presumption because I was the husband. I just automatically assumed I was the father. If you can prove that you are not the kid, do they do anything about it? No, because somebody has to pay child support. Jonathan Jones, he said, that's because men and children are nothing but a means to an end to a woman. We are a business to profit from. Women don't bring anything to the table. Dude, there is a certain type of woman, and I'm going to tell you, is it a majority of American women? You know my thoughts on that. At the same time, am I going to say all of them? No. But that specific type of woman that you're talking about, Jonathan, I'm 100% agree. You're nothing but a means to an end. Now that I'm with you, everything you got is mine. I don't have to work towards it anymore. Maybe in the beginning, in order to get you to love me, I love bombed you. I got you to do everything. I connected with you on every little thing. And then once you get them in the house, or you have a kid with them, you realize you have nothing in common. They don't even want it. They don't want to have sex with you anymore. They want to hold you back from everything because I got what I wanted on it. I got what I wanted. And what are you to do as a man? You're going to sit there and most of the time, a lot of these guys are going to put up with it. They're not allowed to speak up. Hey, I feel neglected. I feel like my marriage, I'm being neglected as a father, as a husband. I'm coming last. Look, man, if you're going to have that happy nuclear family, mom and dad got to be at the top. They got to be at the top, and you got to work on that relationship. I've been in more relationships, Jonathan, like what you're talking about down here in this comment, than I did the one I'm talking about. This is the third time's the charm, they say. I was a 2-time loser. I'm married again, very happily. Seems like it's finally going on the right track. But then again, she didn't have an American background. So people can say that doesn't play into it, but it definitely does. Tiffany said, my husband tells me not to put makeup on because I'm beautiful without it. I used to think differently, but I learned to love myself because of him. That's awesome, man. How many of you guys have told your spouse that or your girlfriend? We mean it. Now, there's the other instance. You talk about the catfish. Have you seen the girl? And I know I get some heat for this sometimes. It's okay. But she lost all of her teeth. And she does the makeup and then ends up looking like a supermodel. She goes from like 0 to a 10. Got the boobies and everything, man. The bobs out there. If you haven't seen that, go look at it. It's like, what just happened? It's like the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, man. Like, no joke. Could you imagine waking up the next day or you're having fun? Hey, let's go dance in the rain. Tonight we are young. And then it starts washing it off and you look up. Who are you? Where'd you go? That'd be a scary thing, man. That'd be a scary thing. I'd run so quick. Pete Martin. Mandatory DNA test at 9th month beginning. Doesn't matter if anyone says no. These laws they need to happen. A month to learn and prepare it with slow cheaters. That's my fault for getting on a different conversation and talking about that with Carnell, but I appreciate this. Yes, I think paternity tests should be mandatory upon birth. And if we normalized it, it wouldn't be that big a deal. Now there's going to be the ones like, I don't have to prove that. That's saying you don't trust me. That's saying no. You know what? If you love your partner and you want to create that comfort in it, there is one person that most of the time knows who that daddy is, and it's the mom. Everybody else is in the dark. Sometimes she don't know because there is so many different people that are involved. But that mandatory paternity test, that could be done with a little swab. They don't even have to touch the baby anymore. They can do it before the child is born. If we normalize that, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. Why would somebody fight so hard? Answer me this. I'd love to hear the reasoning on it. Why would somebody fight so hard for that not to happen? I don't know. Jeremy B, what is going on, brother? I see you're a member over on YouTube. Thanks so much, man, for the support. Guys, have you got your memberships over there on YouTube? Have you got your memberships on Facebook? We need them. We need the support. But thank you for being a member, brother. He said, what is that teaching our daughters? You know, as a dad, I had 4 daughters. 3 I got to raise. 1 where I'm in the same situation as a lot of you guys. I have gotten called strict, controlling, everything because I've tried to instill what I consider morals. You don't have to wear all that makeup. You don't have to wear skimpy clothing. You don't have to do these things for attention. You are beautiful enough the way you are. Don't be like these girls that are twerking in the camera or sending these pictures and stuff like that. Just be you. Be the best that you can be. I want you to be strong. I want you to be independent, but one day you're going to meet a man, and I want you to treat them the same way you expect to be treated. I don't want them to slave over you or to think that they are there to serve you. You need to do for him just as much as they do for you. I've taught this. I don't want too much makeup. I don't want them on social media all the time. You know, I was held against me, man. You know, it's the sad thing about it, Jeremy. If you're a father of divorce or like where it's non-custodial parent or custodial parent where the kids are going back every other week or whatever, it's really hard to be a dad nowadays. What is it teaching our daughters? Whether you teach them that or not, what are they learning when they go to school? And then some people say, well, I'm just going to homeschool. Okay. What happens when they turn on the TV? What happens when they go into any public place? What happens when they watch movies? There's what happens when they get social media and then they start seeing these opposing views. It's everywhere. It's not just about what we are teaching our kids, but we are the first line of defense. They need to learn from us. You know, I think what was different for me as a parent, you guys can tell me how you feel about this. When I was a kid, I found out about the birds and the bees pretty much from kids at school. I did. And that was one of those conversations when my girls started getting a little older. I think I had to talk with them when they was like 6 and 7 years old. And I remember like questioning myself, like, am I doing the right thing? Is this too young? Is this too young? No, it wasn't too young. But I still remember their faces like, they do what? But I was like, look, I want you to hear this from daddy. And if you ever have any questions, don't feel embarrassed about it, man. I was one of those dads. The monthlies started with me. Like I've heard so many conversations about that time of month. And because women live in the house together, that they sync up with the timing and stuff. I've had all those. But our daughters can learn from us. And we are that first line of defense. And we need to make them aware that we know that you're going to learn stuff outside of here. But when I tell you this, it's not to be controlling. It's not to take away your fun. It's because I love you. You know, that's the thing that kids don't understand sometimes, especially when they got that youth. As we start getting into our 20s or 30s and then the 40s, we start looking at the mirror and realizing, crap, you know, I felt immortal when I was younger and felt like I had all this life. I didn't have to worry about death or anything like that for a long time. I'm half my life expectancy now. It could be gone any minute now. And I got to make sure that I make better choices so that I remain here. And I need to teach my kids to make these choices while they're small so that they can be better off as they get older and that nothing ever happens to them. Unfortunately, man, there's just so many people out there that are feeding our kids trash. I mean, just absolute trash, man. It's indoctrination. It used to be in just the colleges. Now we've got it in the middle schools. We've got it in the elementary school. Mike said, not quite. Youth is wasted on the young, and growing old isn't for the faint of heart. Yeah, let me tell you guys a secret. He's old. He farts dust. He does. Paul said, you've been fugabooed. Look, Cornell, they still using the fugaboo. Amanda, Janet Jackson. Y'all know what I'm talking about. That on Smokey. Came out looking like Freddie Jackson. Damn. I love Chris Tucker, man. I just watched that not long ago. First time since like high school. And I forgot how funny it actually was. JC said, I got a son with a mom hooked on fentanyl and trying to figure out how to get off herself. Still getting her fix. Oh, dude. You know, I don't know. I'm guessing that fentanyl is like an opiate. I had my struggles with that like 15 years ago. And I'm going to tell you, for people that are very depressed or like adverse childhood experiences and stuff, for the normal person that has a great put together life, they mess with stuff like that and then they can just push it away. I don't want that. But for somebody that's got a void to fill, or that's got things in their life that they haven't worked out, and they find these things like fentanyl and opiates, it just clings to them, dude. And at that point in time, we start judging that person off of what's going on and not realizing the struggle that's going on. Now, JC, you should not have to be going through this. And at the same time, your kid needs you. They don't need to be with a drug addict. At the same time, your kid still needs their mom. I pray she gets help, man, because I tell you, that's scary. You know, from what I hear, it can just a little small dose and you're no longer here on this earth. Fentanyl. Why are people taking this? I want you to think about it, guys. It goes back into the whole conversation that we was having earlier. People that are not happy with themselves. There's something that's going on. This generation is full of it. Jeremy said, amen. I tell my daughter that whatever guy you choose, he better treat you better than I do. Jeremy, are you telling her to do the same thing with that guy? It is very easy for us, and you might be. I want to make sure that we're giving both sides of the coin. Even as a man, I have heard my whole life on how I am supposed to treat a woman. Don't lay your hands on a woman. You need to open the car door. You need to pay for the meal. You need to be the one that pursues them. You need to call. You need to do this. We have been told what we are supposed to do. One of the best things we can do as fathers is make sure that we teach our daughters that she is not better than him. And we want her to be treated just as well as she treats him, because we want to make sure that they have happy marriages and don't go through what we did. If both sides work together, they can keep that strong nuclear family. Your grandkids are going to be better off with it. And then they're going to pass that on to the next generation, which that next generation might not have many examples of that if we keep going the way we are. Make sure, guys, that we are teaching our daughters how we would have liked to have been treated, right? At the same time, this is what I want you to be treated. I've had the bias too, man. Being that dad of daughters, I'm very protective of them. You better not mess with my girls, you know. At the same time, I have to really think about, what do I wish somebody would have told my exes and about that when I was such a blue-pilled man. I want them to hear it from their daddy. I want them to hear it from their daddy. Let's teach our daughters just like we teach our sons. You know what? And moms, if you got in there and started teaching your daughters, this is how you need to treat a man. And boys, we can talk to that about women, but we need to be teaching both sides. Have respect for yourself, but also don't think you're the only one that's important. You know what? The guy that she's going to be with has got a family that loves that son just as much as you love your daughter and wants to be treated right. You know, and I think that's been one of the biggest problems with the movement, because when a man starts going through these issues, and we have really pushed in this society that the woman is just supposed to be served, nobody wants to listen to him when this stuff goes down. Unless, I don't know, man. I think getting back to that man, Eric Carroll, Dad of Daughters, good movie. Man, I've had times where I've wanted to pull my hair out, guys. Parenting can be such a hard thing. The kids think you're picking on them because you got those rules and stuff like that, and they just don't realize I'm your biggest fan, you know. But I went through the same thing with my mom and dad. Thought they was picking on me. You're trying to kill my fun. Man, I'd give anything if I could have a conversation with my dad nowadays. I haven't had him for 10 years, and I miss it. But that's how we learn, through parenting, right? And we know what it was like when we were kids. I think one of the hardest things as a parent is we try to talk to our kids like they've got the knowledge that we do. And then you're like, look, I've been there. I've done that. You don't understand. Well, they don't realize that because they haven't been there and they haven't done that. They haven't had those experiences yet. You got to think about that when you're talking to them, right? I've not always been the best because I like I said, I had my challenges and I was like, no, don't do this, you know, but it's hard enough being a dad without all of the influences that are going on in this world right now. It's hard enough being a dad at home with the kids, but then they go over to mom's or somewhere else where there isn't co-parenting going on and they're getting a completely different set of rules and told that yours is wrong. It really cripples a father from being a father, man. People don't understand that. They don't, but it's true. When you got somebody that's constantly counter-parenting you every time you do something. And guess what? Usually the one that counter-parents, our society, the indoctrination that we've seen, backs that parent up. Do anything that you want to do. Because we don't have that example of the nuclear family being talked about enough. We don't see the examples of it on TV. We're not seeing it in schools. Most of these kids are growing up without that. So that person that's counter-parenting you also has a very wicked society saying they're right. And you're a child, it makes it so much easier to believe. I think that's why they did it. Masculinity was attacked, man. It's being attacked every single freaking day. Deborah, I feel bad for kids today. It seems to me that with the world being as it is, but what they are being exposed to at inappropriate ages is concerning. They are robbing the innocence of our children. I mean, they really are, man. And if you look at what they are being taught, it's really a direct correlation to push back at everything that a mom and dad says, man. Everything that we once upon a time said was moral or that was right or that we should strive to be, they have taught them to push back on it. And that you guys are just closed-minded if you don't go around with some of the hogwash that we've been seeing. Does it seem strategic? Does it seem like it's planned? It does. 100%. Anyway, getting back to Mr. Swindler. You know this guy's he's still got an Instagram page. Gets on there, talks all the time. I think he did like 6 months or a year in jail. That was it. He's back out there again. Hey, he's successful. Got him a Lamborghini, the watches, the whole 9 yards. It's crazy. But guys, I guess, what is it that women want? If you get that sports coat, get those glasses, get that hair slicked back. It's got to be better than this. You're going to have to shave. You're going to have to get it down. Make sure they get a little tint, have the nice watch and the cigar. Make your last name be that. I'm Eric Musk. You know, I'm the son of a billionaire. Whatever. Does it work? It worked for him. Where are the real men at? Where are the good men at? Everywhere that you're not looking. Come on now. Most of the time, where are all the good men at? Everywhere but the places that you've been looking. There's many good men out there that want to be fathers, that want to be husbands, and they want to love you, but they want to be loved. They want to be told that they are special, that they matter. They want to be pursued. They want to have surprises. They want to feel like you are putting into them just as much as they're putting into you. Is he going to have imperfections? Yeah. Might be a little bit shorter? Yeah. Might he have bad breath? Yeah. May his fart stink a little bit worse than most guys? Probably at some times. There's going to be imperfections about the guy. But if he sticks by you and in the bad times, sticks it out, man, and talks and makes that relationship. Don't tell me there aren't good guys out there. A lot of these guys held on to relationships long after they should have let go. They should have let go a long, long time ago. I was one of them. Dude, no matter how bad my relationships got, I just kept trying to stick on in there because I wanted to be able to tell my kids I did everything I could. Right? And people think if I just stay on in there and I don't let it break apart my family, it's going to put it back together. You can't build a house with somebody that's not carrying bricks, guys. You're fighting a losing battle, so divorce is going to happen. Looking for love in all the wrong places. How'd that sound? You guys remember the Eddie Murphy when he did Buckwheat on Saturday Night Live? Looking for nub in all the wrong places. Anyway, I don't know. That's what I think of every time I hear that song. But awful. You guys are calling my singing awful? Look, you are hurting my confidence right now. You really are. You want me to sing you another one? I guess I need to get the sports coat, and I need to get the glasses and the cigar and the watch. Look at me, ladies. Yeah, I got billions of dollars. Is that all I got to do? Look, it worked for the husband of Anna Nicole Smith. What was his name? I don't think did she ever get the money? I don't think she did. But come on now, come on. At some point, what's going on here? What's going on here? I hope that's not what you're looking for. Because if that's what you continue looking for, you can have all the money in the world and you can't buy happiness and you can't buy love. There is no possessions. There is no house. There is no car. Nothing on the face of this earth that I would trade for my woman that I lay across from at night and hold and build this home with. Nothing. I'd rather live in a shack, man. You know, that's one thing I'll say about guys. There's a lot of guys, they will go for a woman that has nothing to offer, doesn't have a job, doesn't have any money, whatever. He just wants to love her. But as a guy, if you don't check off all these marks, I mean, I'm really shocked. It had to be the money with this guy, because I don't think it was the looks, and he damn sure wasn't tall. Did you see him? He was short. But because of that image of money and success, but we sing the blues. Yeah. Love Shack, baby, Love Shack. Anyway, y'all gonna get me off subject. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, go and check it out. Just wanted to talk about those. All right, guys, I will be back tomorrow. Say a little prayer for me, guys. If that's what you do. I'm not trying to bring religion or anything like that in there. Good vibes, whatever. My mind is really heavy with these babies that are losing their lives right now. And these parents. I know I'm not responsible for it, and I know one man is going to have the answer. But once you see what's going on, it's very hard to separate yourself from it. And one of the hardest things that you will ever have to do is sit across from someone that just lost a kid or that lost a parent and say, how does that feel? What's going through your head? Tell everybody what's going on, because I already know what those questions are going to do the second I look them in the face. But the world is going to need to see it. And it gets heavy. It's really heavy. So I could use it. I'm struggling right now. Do me a favor. Dad Talk Today, no spaces. Cash App, Venmo, Patreon. Many ways you can support. Got the memberships and the super chats. Over on YouTube, got the same thing on Facebook. Did you guys see the new shirts that we got out there? If you'd be interested in those, message the Dad Talk Today Facebook. And I just want to say, while I'm on air, I am very sorry that we're having to charge like $30 for a shirt. I have never seen merchandise so expensive in my life. In order to make some merch with our logo and stuff on it to where you guys can support, it is ridiculous right now, guys. So if you see that out there, know it's the inflation. It's not Dad Talk. I was wanting to get some new hats and stuff, but in order to do those hats, it'd be like $45 or $50 for a hat. Are you kidding me? It's ridiculous right now. So I'm looking at some ways that I can get a little bit of that, cheaper merchandise in there, but it is really cool. If you haven't seen those shirts, And I hope you guys will get those, because if you read the back, I did it for a reason. As you're walking down the road, it's not a lack of masculinity. I mean, it's not toxic masculinity. It's a lack of masculinity. That's one of them. There's 2 different shirts. There's another one that says, stop asking fathers why he didn't fight harder and ask mothers why he had to fart it all. I just said fart instead of fight. Now that's ask mothers why he had to fight it all. Yeah, man, my head is screwed right now. All right, guys, I'm going to get off of here. If you'd be interested in that, get on the Dad Talk Today Facebook. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Hey, everybody, Eric Carroll here. Thank you for tuning in to another exciting episode of Dad Talk Today. While we fight for you, we would ask for you to please help fight for us. Like, subscribe to our channel, and ring that bell so you get notifications every time we go live. There's also Super Chats, patreon.com/Dad Talk Today, and other ways you can support our channel. Thank you for being here, and we will see you next time.